Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second installment of the Super Metroid Any Tournament presented by Vi.gg here on twitch.tv/speedrun. How's everybody doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty well. This is Typo, by the way.
Good,
you know, well too. I'm sloaters.
I'm super excited to be kind of brought into the Super Metroid world. I was able to commentate earlier today, having absolutely no clue what was going on. But now I'm here with some of the experts to kind of help me through. Isn't that right, Stump? I guess Stump having a little bit of issues, so it may just be me being a noob coming here for you tonight. Really excited watching these runs, watching earlier, learning the different routes. I'm sure that there's some viewers out there kind of learning along with me as we go through Super Metroid, that nostalgia as a kid. The game not played the same anymore. Now, I believe world record is 41-18, super low, got a couple of months ago by Behemoth. Learning the different routes, really excited to see what the runners are going to be bringing to the table today. Sloaters, how do you feel going into this match?
I'm feeling pretty good. I just did a randomizer match for another league I'm in. I did well in that. I did some practice runs, and I was pretty pleased with how I played, so I think
now,
feeling pretty good.
Will you gentlemen go ahead and enlighten us? What is your PB in this any percent category?
With this route I'm doing, I have a 44-34.
34. And with the route that I'm doing, which Sloaters, are you also doing KPDR?
Yeah.
All right, nice. So we're both doing KPDR. My PB is a 49-27, so I'm kind of bringing up the back end here.
Now, getting ready for the race, KPDR is one of the two main routes. Now, if I'm not mistaken, this is the more risky route?
No, this is the easier route, actually.
The easier route, okay.
Yeah, so the big thing about this route is you get to do Kraid first, then you get Varia. Varia allows you to take basically half damage at Fantoon. Going up to Fantoon with only 1 or 2 E-tanks is pretty risky when you don't have Varia, so
sure.
This makes things a bit easier, and Sloaters can add whatever he wants to that.
Yeah, you also get to go to Lower Norfair with the Plasma Beam, which makes the Ridley fight a lot easier, and makes dealing with a lot of the enemies down there a lot easier, and you're far less likely to die compared to the new route where you do Fantoon first, since you won't have Plasma Beam when you go to that area.
So a safer route from both of the runners coming today. I know that the new route that's kind of recently come out, it does have quite a bit of time save in it, but this is pretty optimized for you gentlemen, correct?
I would say for Sloaters, it is fairly optimized. He's gotten some pretty dang good times with this. For me, I do a bit of slower strats here, but I've been playing the game for a while, so I'm pretty comfortable with what I'm doing.
Awesome. Well, good luck to both of you. We're going to go ahead and get started. Stump, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. Ready for some Super Metroid.
So happy that you're over here on my side. I was getting worried there for a second. I'm such a noob at this game. I'm going to rely on your expertise to help kind of walk us through. So expect those really tough questions coming up here soon.
I'm ready.
All right, as our runners are getting set to go, I'd like to mention Vi.gg. Vi.gg is the official sponsor for this tournament and other tournaments right here on twitch.tv/speedrun. All you have to do, check them out, !bet, or click on the panel right below the stream for a special offer specifically for GSA. I believe it's like a €20 either credit or towards a loss. Lots of folks are betting. Make sure you're of legal betting age and it's legal within your country. Check that out, Vi.gg. Looks like we're finishing up here, about to get a countdown started. So, Stump, kind of familiarize me with this. How long have you run the game?
I've been playing this for about 2.5 years now.
About 2.5 years. It's shocking to me on a 2D platformer coming from the Super Mario 64 realm, watching how frame perfect a lot of these tricks and strats are. What do you think is going through these racers' minds as we're about to get started?
Yeah, I think they're thinking about what's about to happen and what the tough parts of it might be.
Is there anything you can think of that we may need to kind of look out for? I kind of noticed earlier there were some extra vocabulary that I hadn't heard from other games, talking about French fries, meatballs, ketchup, mustard, all of these different things. What is that about?
Actually, all of those are Mother Brain's attacks.
Ah, that makes a whole lot more sense. Falling down now, going ahead and getting started. Now, kind of walk us through just a little bit. I learned with this last match that running on those straight and narrow paths, kind of moving the blaster up and down, saves a couple of frames. Is that right?
Yep. Each time you aim up or down or release from that pushes you forward an extra pixel, and that can add up.
For sure. I mean, the any percent is 41-18 on the top. Absolutely crazy run by Behemoth. I was able to watch that after the last match earlier.
Oh, that was a nice looking damage boost off of Ridley's tail. We're both starting the series escape now. Let's see what sort of escape times we see.
Now, what is a decent escape time for runners of this caliber?
Hopefully we at least would see a 44 is good.
44 is good. Going through and playing this game as a kid, I talked about it the last match. There was no Google to go through and try to look at a map, pressing start a whole bunch, hand drawing maps out, trying to print it off, wasting dad's printer ink. Definitely an advantage in 2018 playing this game. Both runners getting ready to get started here. Now, there is kind of a variance of a school of thought. I know that some folks actually run on the SNES or the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. Some are running on the SNES Classic. What do you run on personally?
I use a SNES. Oh, I see we have no moonfalls here.
Now, kind of explain that. I was learning just a little bit earlier about moonfalls. What exactly is that?
Moonfall is a way to uncap your falling speed by doing certain inputs off of a ledge, and that actually gets you enough speed with the right alignment to go through that one platform along the side of that room that they had to avoid. It saves a few seconds to do it in that room. There are a few other places where it can be done, but those mostly come into play in 100%.
Now, I have seen before as well talking about the climb. There are kind of two schools of thought on that as well. I know that there's a ledge grab method And then also, I don't know the exact term where you're rolling up against the right side of the wall, a little bit more risky. What would you typically go for in a race like this?
Mm, I typically do the wall jump climb. I'd actually say that one is the one that's the one that's less risky, I'd say, because for the ledge grabs, you gotta be right on with the inputs for it to save time.
Now we see, if I'm not mistaken, Sloater's using that right side wall, but not Typo was using the ledge grab method. Am I wrong?
That's what happened. And we got Sloater's well on the way to mini boss number 1.
Now, both of the runners they discussed earlier running the same route today. So we're not going to see any route deviation. We should be able to see clearly who's in the lead. Sloater's a few seconds ahead as of right now. Let's see what happens with this first boss fight. Now, how precise do these rockets have to be trying to knock out this very first boss here? Is that something that's very precise or something you can kind of play around with a little bit?
The missiles themselves are... Bouncer is a very big target. The real trick is to shoot a bunch of the projectiles to get missile drops in the air and then not pick all of them up in your first jump up there, so that you can grab more of them while Bounterizo's exploding at the halfway mark of his health.
Ah, okay. So a lot of pre-planning for sure. I also did notice taking damage here where Samus kind of disappears just a little bit. It almost gives you that ability to move through objects. So that being an integral part to most of these runs has kind of been par for the course today.
That it is. And Sloaters is first into Brinstar, where soon we'll be seeing some early supers. Probably, well, definitely the most important mock ball in the entire run here.
Now, if there's any point where you think these runners would lose a significant amount of time, where do you think that would be along this route that they're running right now?
I think I'd say if Fantoon does not cooperate.
That RNG, I assume.
Yes.
Sloater's right now sporting that 43.34. Got about 2 months ago. Currently placed 11th on the leaderboard. Starting to take a commanding lead, grabbing that charge beam now. Definitely needs to make up a little bit of time here.
There's plenty of run left for anything to happen.
The run is definitely not short. And as we spoke about before, those frame perfect executions, it's all small mistakes. Little mistakes will add up over time and compound on you at the end.
Yep, and we saw Slurs go down Red Tower, confirming old route. And looks like what was about there. Sloaters ending up taking a few spike hits under the yapping maw there, but out and through the Meridia tube towards Kraid's lair.
Very interesting. Looking at the energy levels up at the top left of each screen, I know energy plays a part into things such as seeing the Metroid towards the end. Does it play as large of a part here in the beginning game?
Not too much of one at this particular point. But that it certainly will come into much more play later. And Sloaters first to Kraid's room. Let's see what sort of quick kill technique we hopefully see.
Typo kind of getting hung up a little bit, trying to make up time here. Very quick kill.
Yep, very nice with that quick missile hit on as the mouth begins to open.
So currently about 30 seconds apart between the two runners. Some small mistakes early on with a Typo. Sloaters starting to get a little bit of a commanded lead.
Yeah, still only a few rooms, but with Typo missing the quick kill, that lead's going to grow a little more. But the few more supers have made it into Kraid's mouth. Typo will be through the fight soon. Sloaters at the Kraid E-tank, and down goes Kraid for Typo.
And maybe you can explain this as well. When you get that quick kill, you're not able to see the door on the other side of the room. So do you just kind of go off of muscle memory where that door is?
Yep, that's what you have to do since the camera never unlocks.
Sloaters heading back down. Again, still got that lead, but a long way to go. At least another 30 minutes left in this particular run.
Well, there's a lot involved in picking up the various items that are here in Upper Norfair.
Now, what is it about killing the animals at the end? You're going to have to explain that. I know it's kind of a meme within the community. You're going to have to explain that just a little bit.
Alright, well, in the room where Banterizo was, or that's where the animals are during the escape, it takes a little bit of time to detour to save them by blowing up shooting out a wall to the on the side of that room during the escape. But without doing that, the ending of fusion can't happen.
Gotcha. The runner's heading through fairly quickly. Typo trying to catch up here. Not a lot of mistakes from Sloaters.
We got Sloaters in Bubble Mountain using a pseudo screw to not have that cack attack at the top be a problem, and heading up towards Speed Booster. Typo coming back from the high jump room and about to head through the heated rooms. And Sloaters at Speed Booster. Well, now so now we'll be seeing some much faster running.
Excellent.
And typo in the lava step bubble mountain. Entering it right as Sloaters leaves to head towards Wave Beam. Doing a little gap skip there before that door. And the cack attack not being a problem for Typo. Sloaters grabbing the missile along the way to Wave Beam. Typo headed up towards Speed Booster.
While you're checking out these runners push through, there's a lot more Super Metroid action coming at you throughout the week. All you have to do is hit !schedule to check that out, or !bracket to get into the bracket. This is a double elimination tournament, so the winner of this particular race will go on and stay in the winners bracket. The loser gets a second chance, a second bite at that apple. We've seen 2 losses so far, only 2 matches run. So check that out, !bracket, to see what's coming up next. Seems like that speed boost helps a ton getting through there.
Yeah, that passage skips the set of heated rooms that had to be traversed to go to Bubble Mountain. It's sort of a shortcut that Speed Booster opens up to let you get back easily. And Typo with the Wave Beam. And Sloaters charging up Alpha Spark. There's the charge. There's the open door. Oh, but the charge expired.
I'm noticing a lot of the enemies are kind of skipped or used to save frames to go through them. There's not a whole lot of killing within these runs, right?
Right. Oh, actually at the top of Red Tower on the Sloater's side, while jumping off that left side and using that held shot to open up that block and continue through it, that was it's very nice to see that. That's a tight sequence of inputs. And we got Typo out of Norfair now, about to go over to Red Tower and up. Sloaters well on the way to the wrecked ship, where we'll see what Fantoon has to say about this run.
Let's see, indeed. Not a whole lot of mistakes from Sloaters coming through here.
And we have Ocean Fly.
Incredible.
GG to Sloaters for getting that. Down into the wrecked ship. Sloaters goes as Typo damage boosts over to the power bombs. And a short charge speed ball to deal with the bomb block more quickly, and the Fantoon fight begins.
Currently, Sloaters about a minute and a half ahead, running the same route today.
Yep.
Now, this fight is super interesting to me. Is there a lot of RNG that comes into this fight, or How is that normally played out?
Yeah, well, the main impact of the RNG is in how long Fantoon takes to open up and become vulnerable after each phase where he starts floating around. And we got and the RNG was good to sloaters there, and there also was an X factor that was right there, right on where it should be, allowing the 2-round kill.
Kind of explain that term X Factor for those that don't typically watch Super Metroid.
The X Factor is one of the special beam combos that are done by selecting power bombs and holding a charge for a second beyond full. And with wave beam selected, active, a special attack happens that where 4 particles that each do 300 damage converge on Samus's position. So with appropriate timing, those can all land on Fantoon and do almost half of his health.
For those that are watching, Sloaters is the 3rd seed. Typo is the 14th seed in this tournament, this round 1 battle.
After the fast patterns, Sloaters got... Typo got a slow pattern there. And Sloaters with the bowling spark. A chance to put the controller down for a few seconds and think about the rest of the run.
You don't get that very often in this game, I've noticed. Maybe grab a swig of water or something like that really quick. Not a lot of downtime through this 45-plus minute run.
Pretty much this and golden statues. But now Typo has Fantoon down and Sloaters has Gravity Suit. So they are rest of wrecked ship apart. And Sloaters starts the journey down to Meridia.
Typo got a lot of ground to kind of make up here. Sloater seems to have a really good run going under his belt right now.
Those Fantoon patterns only made that even better. And we got Typo cleaning up the attic. Sparking through the remaining enemies after power bombing the first few.
It just truly amazes me how big this map is. Going through each of the doors, each of the areas, it's huge for an SNES game. I don't know how you can memorize it, but excellent showing for both runners for sure.
And Typo reaches bowling, and Sloaters begins Meridia.
So Typo able to take just a second. Currently, still about 1 minute and 30 seconds behind Sloaters. Sloaters having a very good run right now.
Sloaters up the mountain room and into Aqueduct. Getting ready for the Batoon fight.
Making it look easy for sure. Now, are
So
all
this
the
way.
buttons on that SNES controller used for this game?
Yeah, all of them are. There is something on all of them do something that's useful somewhere. Sloaters has Platoon down after getting 3 out of 4 X Factor particles at the beginning, and having to do some charge shots due to not enough supers. Getting that E-tank before going over towards the half E-climb.
Sloaters again making it look incredibly easy.
There's the spark charge. There's the wall jumps. And not quite high enough with the jump, though. Still, a regular half E is a good thing. Better than the quarter when you overshoot. And Sloaters enters Dragon as Typo begins Meridia. Sloaters taking out the turrets so that the shots from them don't get in the way. And practicing Shine Spark suit.
Always good to get a little practice in the middle of your runs.
There's the X Factor plus Spark opener. Do we see... Ooh, well, the second Spark got Dragon nice and red, but not quite enough to kill, so ammo did the rest. Sloaters trying to get a Spark suit. Not quite getting it, but alright, and Typo in the between fight. Sloaters with space jump. But
go ahead.
Since Typo had that extra X Factor particle on the screen, that actually was not a good thing, because until that particle either is there long enough to despawn or it hits Platoon, it wasn't possible for Typo to fire anything else. So that's one of the possible ways that X Factoring might not might cause a slight issue when it's not right on. And Sloaters through Kakatak Alley.
As Sloaters is kind of heading through, just over halfway through his run, I did want to mention one more time, Vi.gg sponsoring the prize pool for this tournament, the Super Mario Odyssey Any Percent Tournament, and the Super Mario 64 70-star tournament as well. Make sure you go and check them out, !bet, or you can hit that panel right below the stream. Check them out. Go sign up as long as it's legal within your country and you're of legal betting age. You can bet on any of these matches. You can take home a brand new Christmas turkey. Pay for those Christmas gifts with the kiddos with these really good picks. Check them out. Vi.gg for sure.
Alright, Sloaters has Plasma now, and we see Typo doing a little bit of practice short charging before also going for the Spark plus X Factor Dragon opener. A few swoops, and let's see how this Spark does. And Dragon's getting towards the red side. one more spark should kill. Looks like that's not what Typo is going to do. There's the charge, or not. Using charge shots because no ammo, but well, the missiles that drop from the mucus particles finish Dragon off. And now Typo will collect Space Jump. Meanwhile, we've got Sloaters in Norfair again, ready to go over and get Ice Beam.
Now, it's interesting to note that Sloater's PB that's currently posted on speedrun.com is not this route, it is the old route. So looking around a 44-45 out of Sloaters today.
And there is Ice Beam for Sloaters. So now you can head over to the Lower Norfair entrance. And we're seeing the upper path to it. Typo through Cacatac Alley after having grabbed a few supers as drops from them.
Now, are the drops pretty much determined by RNG, or is that something that's going to be determined by the type of enemy that you're killing?
Every enemy type has a different distribution of what drops there are. And Cacatacs tend to drop super missiles. And there is Chronic Boost. That specific angle that damage boosting gives you works so well for getting through that lava. And Typo clears out Plasma Room, and Sloaters reaches Lower Norfair and begins heading through. Charging up for the fast pillars, and gets them. Heads into the worst room in the game.
Now, you say worst room in the game. Why is that?
Because when you don't have Screw Attack, setting up to go through that that first ceiling that had to be power bombed open can be a challenge. Even more so if you don't have Space Jump, which some categories will not have. With Space Jump, it's not too bad. Sloaters killing some of those key hunters so that the power bombs that are at the end of this room don't cause lag.
Interesting lag reduction, for sure.
Especially since there are 2 power bomb explosions affected by it, that really is helpful in that room in particular. And we saw some 2 nice Kagos through the spike platforms. And some fast kills of the metal pirates too. And Typo about to grab Ice Beam. And Sloaters getting right across that room to enter the Ridley fight. And with this beam combination, Ridley will take 20 shots.
Now, from the other route, does it not take significantly amount more shot?
Oh, yes, it does, because the other route will have Spazer instead of Plasma here, so the other route, this fight takes 60 shots.
Wow.
Mother Brain also. Although you do have, although super missiles do cut out some of it, but for the part that you have to do with charge shots, this route you only need a third as many. And down goes Ridley. Typo a few rooms away from the Lower Norfair entrance.
Again, making it look incredibly easy. I'm pretty sure if I casually played, it would take me forever to beat any of these bosses.
I remember well some of what these bosses felt like casually the first couple times. Although that was more about not really knowing the weaknesses than anything else.
You expend a lot of ammo, a lot of precious ammo, especially if you don't know how to counteract those weaknesses for sure.
Alright. Typo charging up for fast pillars. And getting it. Sloaters making some good use of pseudo screw to get through the Firefly room. And reaching the Three Musketeers. Hitboxing through one, taking the hit from the second one, and using the iframes to get through the third one. Nicely done. That trick for the first one, this works particularly well with plasma, but while the plasma beam shot is in contact with the Key Hunter, it will not damage Samus.
Slow trucking ahead, widening that margin between him and Typewell at this point.
With all the statue bosses done, well, all Sloaters has to do now is get to and through Torian. And Typo about to face the Metal Pirates.
Now, kind of explain what happened there. It looked like he came back and took damage and then blasted through. Could you kind of give some insight as to what's happening?
No, that was to position them properly and manipulate them to become vulnerable with timings that allow conveniently hitting them with 2 charge shots in a row.
That's fair.
Here's the Ridley fight for Type 1. Sloaters out the Meridia escape path and up the elevator into Cateria. Typo getting those last few charge shots into Ridley. Ooh, but that one got eaten by Ridley's tail. We're seeing some pogo patterns that ease the process of getting those shots where they need to go. And down goes Ridley. Sloaters speedballing through the bomb blocks in the parlor room.
Now, what was the shot for other than to open the door? I assume that's what the shot for at the end of his jump there.
Pretty much. And there is that golden statue room. One of the other moments of, well, of being able to relax a little bit while waiting for the game to do its thing.
The hydrate bot, the grab a quick drink, swig the Mountain Dew, maybe a couple of Cheetos kind of moment.
And we've got Typo well on the way back through Lower North Fair after beating Ridley. And Sloaters in the elevator transition into Torian. The Metroids await.
Once again, Sloaters staying on task, staying on point here for sure.
And grouping those Metroids together to save ammo. And Sloaters through the third Metroid room. Respawn.
And getting them all together, that's super smart to be able to conserve that ammo in a game where you are limited. You know, a lot of games like rail shooters where you just have unlimited ammo, you're not really that worried about it.
Yep, but now there is the necessary ammo. And Sloaters reaches the final Metroid.
Now this is where he's almost manipulating him to clear the path. Correct?
Well, it's more about not getting grabbed and manipulating the Metroid to sort of sling it farther away from you. And Sloaters with the Zeb skip. And down goes Mother Brain 1. And Typo reaching the Run Star exit. And with this, and this beam will take 20 shots to beat the second phase of Mother Brain here. So that's a pretty fast fight, but the Brain still will get one chance to fire the catch-up beam.
The catch-up beam. Now this is what you were talking about earlier. Now what is it? It's ketchup, French fries. What other foods are there in this Mother Brain fight?
Right. Well, you saw the ketchup and the French fries being the I-beam attack. There are the onion rings from Mother Brain's mouth. Those can combo you because they ignore iframes from the hit. And there also are the hamburger patties.
That's what it is. We weren't sure earlier if it's a meatball or what is that coming out.
You could call it a meatball. Different people have different names for some of them. But there's the Metroid refilling Samus with Mother Brain's energy as Saipo enters Dorian. And that's a lot of onion rings that the Metroid has to deal with.
A lot of onion rings. Now, this is the final boss fight, correct? Because after this, you're looking at the exit.
Yep, all that's after this is the escape. And Mother Brain 3. Faster attacks, but faster damage from... Oh! Typo seems to have died. I didn't see exactly where. But I believe that was in one of the Metroid rooms.
We'll go ahead and see Sloaters finish up his run here with that surprising death coming from Typo here at the end.
That 3-minute beginning of the escape being right at the door transition when the timer starts, sparking up Escape Room 3, and using the iframes from that hit to wall jump through that space pirate on the left wall after taking those frames through the door. Down the middle, up the right.
Very intimidating for sure. I know that Sloaters, of course, is going to get out way before the timer ends, but I think I would have an issue trying to get through here so quickly.
That was a nice behemoth spark. That diagonal from not right up against the wall. And we are leaving the animals behind.
Ooh.
And that's GG to Sloaters.
Sloaters with a 46.07 definite GG. Let's see if we can get both gentlemen in on this call in just a moment. Now, did you see any large mistakes throughout Sloaters' run?
Not really.
Very interesting run. Both of these gentlemen taking that time, looking amazing going through it. I definitely could not do that. We're going to try to see if we can get Sloaters and Typo in here for an interview really quick. Sloaters, GG on the win. How was that run? How'd you feel about it?
It was all right. I think I played pretty well in most of the areas besides Meridia. There's a few frustrating spots there. And aside from the bad RNG at the end with the Metroid drops, it would have been a pretty decent time.
But a 46.07, definitely not anything to be upset about for sure. Definitely a top tier time. Typo, what happened?
In what part?
Right there at the end, everything was going so well. I mean, you were kind of had Sloaters had a lead on you for a lot of the race, and then we turn back over and we see this game over screen. What happened?
Yeah, so I have a specific strat that I do in Metroid Room 1, and it relies on me freezing the first Metroid. And I fired the beam probably like I don't know, just slightly too early. So it didn't hit the first Metroid. Metroid grabbed me. I had to bomb it off. Then I froze a Rinka and kind of got stuck on that and had no momentum from there on out. So with the amount of health I had to group those 3 Metroids and bomb them off immediately, and I didn't. And that's kind of why I died, because when you're going in with like, I don't know, about 120, 130 health or something like that, those 3 Metroids on you will basically drain you of life within a few seconds.
For sure. Excellent run from both of you gentlemen. Thank you very much. Sloaters, continuing on in the winner's bracket. It's not over for you, Type. You'll head over to the loser's bracket, and I think we're going to see some awesome stuff for you throughout that.
Yeah, sounds good. I'm looking forward to the matches.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. And thank you, viewers, for hanging out, checking out our second ever Super Metroid run of the day. So we've had 3 total so far in this tournament, sponsored by Vi.gg. One last time, exclamation point bet. Check it out if you haven't. I know everybody's jumping on that bandwagon and putting those bets in, throwing that money down, getting that Christmas turkey. That's what it's all about for sure. A amazingly packed day again tomorrow. Hit exclamation point schedule to check out the schedule tomorrow, starting off D whatever in Tama at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time, 3 p.m. Eastern with Super Mario 64. We've got multiple Super Mario Odyssey, Super Mario 64, and one more Super Metroid run tomorrow, which is going to be Farrell versus Scotty McBody, happening at 9:15 Eastern. Stump, thanks so much for hanging out with me tonight, bringing that game insight, showing this noob how to play this game. I appreciate it. GG to both runners. Thank you so much, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.
All right, thank you.